Hello, everyone, and welcome back. As always, I'm your girl, Candy Washington. And before we dive into today's Kiki, which is Bravo dropping its latest sneak peek for The Real Housewives of Potomac's upcoming episode, season 7, episode 6. Now, this was juicy, this was hot, so I thought that we could break it up in 3 different parts, watch it together, and then comment and dissect and see what we think is true, what we think is not true, and all of that. So it's really exciting. I feel like Real Housewives of Potomac is about to get good. It's been a little bit of a sleepy season so far, if we're being honest, but I think it's about to get really good. And I want to go over some of the things that I saw in the sneak peek and see if you guys saw them too. But before we dive in, you know what to do. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it when we go live. Also, be sure to share this with a friend because a Kiki is always better with community. Check out our description box down below and shop our Love collection. We got a lot of goodies, so be sure to check it out. With that, you guys, let's dive right on in. So like I said, Bravo just dropped a really juicy trailer for the upcoming episode of The Real Housewives of Potomac. I've broken it up into 3 parts. We'll watch each part and then we'll talk about it, okay? So now let's watch part 1 of their trailer, okay? Or their sneak peek. So we're gonna watch it now. Let me bring it up. Okay. Here we go.
I've also heard that Chris has been in some other DMs that are not quite as innocuous and innocent as mine.
Ashley, your husband likes to leave you.
Do you wanna
and go to a man named house and suck his dick?
Oh! I'm not joking.
Are you veering off the path?
So let's not.
Is this deflection?
Because Chris ain't
Are
sucking
you
no
deflecting?
dick.
I'm sick to my stomach. We sucking a We can't do that.
No.
I was not supposed to talk about this person, but he says Michael Darby is a client of his. That's what your ass get, because I was holding on to that. You wanted smoke. So, here.
You need to watch what you say.
I know what I said.
You're making
I'm not.
Can we burn it?
See, this is the problem.
I'm done.
I hear everything about Michael. I processed, I deal. You're not hearing.
Because you come from
He's done.
a decrepit, disrespectful marriage.
Just remember, the pendulum
where
always
you
swings
are-
the other way,
Oh,
okay?
no, honey. We
Yeah,
don't have
yeah,
that over
yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
know the Lord.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
over here, we don't do that.
Hey, I appreciate you, ladies.
Yes. Thank you for having us, Wendy.
Thank you.
I think so. That's it.
I
That's it.
mean,
No, we
this
don't
is
need
too
nothing else.
much.
Let's get up. I'm good.
I'm gonna get out.
Bye, Mia. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me. Okay. I have wine.
Lord.
They wouldn't let me bring the bottle, but they let me take the glass. Are you okay?
I'm tired.
I'm fine. I couldn't. My Uber is like still 30 minutes out.
Are you okay? Because we rode together.
Here's my thing, Wendy, and I know it got hostile,
No,
right?
you're fine.
But I wanted to bring it up, especially in front of Giselle.
Why did you want?
Okay, you guys, so that was part 1. Okay, so we're gonna go and dissect part 1. Then we'll watch part 2 and 3 because I chopped it up in 3 parts. Okay, now, part 1. A couple of things. Number 1, when Candiace, again, everything in this video is alleged, rumored, and opinion-based, okay? So when Candiace said that she heard that Michael Darby goes to this guy's place who is allegedly a sex worker, says he has clients, so I'm assuming he does sexual things in exchange for money, and accuses Michael of sucking his you-know-what. Did you catch that Ashley did not flinch? This was not new information. This was not shocking to her. And she never denied it. She actually kind of confirmed it. She was like, yeah, I hear things about Michael. I process it and I deal with it. Oh, are you deflecting? She never said, what are you talking about? You're crazy. I've never heard about this. None of that, right? None of that. So, I mean, to me, her reaction was very, very telling. If I am the wife, even if I am the estranged wife, allegedly, if we're going through a separation, if I'm sitting at a table and this woman tells me my husband, the father of my children, goes to a male sex worker, and my reaction is, well, yeah, I just process and deal. That to me is an admission. And again, I know I say this a lot on my channel, but anytime we talk about, sexuality, identity, any of that stuff, whether it's male or female, bi, gay, straight, it's all with respect and inclusiveness. So even if we're talking about same-sex encounters or anything like that, it's still from a place of respect. Just want to put that disclaimer out there. So that I thought was pretty big. The next thing I noticed was I personally think that Ashley is lying. I think Ashley is lying. I think her whole thing about, oh, there's other curses and other DMs are not as innocuous and as innocent as mine, blah, 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 blah. Oh, my friend said he was, flirting with her at the spring party. And again, shout out to the shady producers. They've been holding Chris down. They did, a shot back at the spring party. He's literally on his phone, texting, tweeting, doing whatever, paying her friend dust. So again, I think that Ashley is lying. I think she's taking whatever she can take and twisting it, because I do think she's holding a grudge against Candiace. She's holding a grudge against Candiace because Candiace was one of the people, including Giselle and everybody else last season and the season before that, who went after Michael Darby with his, allegations of sexual misconduct and touching and inappropriateness and cheating and hotel rooms and this, that, and the third. However, I think that Ashley's grudge against Candiace was reunited when Candiace did her fourth wall rant. Now, remember, I think it was either the last episode or the episode before that, when Candiace gets up and she's like, where's Eric? Where's the producer? This is when Giselle is trying to say that Chris made her uncomfortable and all of that stuff. And instead of Candiace just saying, my husband did not do this, this is not who my husband is, they're trying to set him up, this is a fake storyline, that this is wrong, instead of just leaving it at defending her husband, she threw Michael Darby in. Well, Michael Darby is available for this. He's the actual predator. He's the one who's really making people uncomfortable. He's the one squeezing people's butts. So she didn't leave it at my husband is innocent. She threw in Michael Darby is guilty. And I think that is what really set Ashley back off to go against Candiace regarding all of this. That's why Ashley kept saying, oh, the pendulum always swings back, being, you keep talking about my husband. Well, now it's going to fall back to us talking about your husband. Candiace's position is, this is the thing. Everything I'm saying about your husband is true. People have said this. These are allegations against him. I'm not making this up. Whereas, Ashley, you're reaching and you're making it up by proxy with Giselle and Mia and everybody else, right? So that's what Candiace's big difference is. Yeah, I came at your husband, but what I said was true. I was showing you actual receipts, but you're coming with me with some BS, right? So that's where I think Ashley is really coming from. And then I also think it's very... oh, this is in part 2, okay? So I'll wait to get into part 2. So let's watch part 2 now, okay? And then we'll talk about it. So give me a second so I can pull up the video and we'll watch. All right, you guys, this is part 2.
At Candiace's house, she kept saying, Giselle is just being phony and she's just saying all of this because she just wants to say it in front of the group. All I was saying to her is, with Mia saying that, he was looking at her, and with this information from my friend, maybe he needs to do just a little check and say, maybe I'm like being a little too friendly.
I think we're gonna get out of here.
while I have you,
Yes. Oh, okay, yes.
I wanted to talk to you.
Look at the view. Did you see the view?
It's lovely. So, I wanted to talk to you one-on-one.
Great. Because
Yeah.
I wasn't going to interject in that.
The last time that we spoke, I had to get up and leave.
Right.
But I wanted to make sure that I was clear on understanding your feelings and where you are. You mentioned that you all went into your dressing room, you and Chris.
Yeah.
And you were uncomfortable.
Right, correct.
So what exactly made you uncomfortable?
I'm in a room with a man that does not belong to me,
Right.
and the door is closed.
Right.
And so I asked him to go outside, and he immediately did. That's it. And I thought you should know.
So you're saying that he suggested that you all go talk in your room?
Yes.
Because he said that he asked you to talk, and you suggested that you go to your room?
I said, Giselle, can we talk? And she said, yeah, let's go to my room.
So she suggested going to your room.
99% sure that that's how that went down.
And when you got into the room, he said, should we leave the door open?
But there was nobody in there.
Right.
So I even suggested, leave the door open. I don't need anybody, suggesting anything else,
Right.
Happen. And she was like, yeah, I don't need any rumors like that going on about me either.
I don't recall him saying, if he said that, then he knew this was inappropriate.
That there implies some sort of
Okay, you guys, so that was part 2. Now, with this section of the situation, I personally believe Chris's version of the story. I personally believe Chris's version of the story because it makes the most sense. If I go up to someone, I'm like, hey, can we talk? And they're like, yeah, let's just go to my room and talk. That makes more sense. And then when you get to the room, Chris is like, oh, the room's empty. That makes more sense because if we go back to how Giselle told the story in previous episodes, she was making it sound like Chris lured her into her hotel room. And she kept saying things like, my glam wasn't there, and he knew my glam wasn't there, and he wanted to bring me back to my hotel room, and he knew it was empty. But how would Chris know that her hotel room is empty? How would he know that beforehand? So logically, that doesn't make sense. He would have to have went to her hotel room, made sure her entire glam and hair and assistants were all gone in order to set her up to have her come into her own hotel room that was empty. That just doesn't make any sense. So I believe Chris's version of events. I think Chris, for whatever reason, thought that Giselle was the person to confide in or to talk to. That was mistake number 1. And then she's like, yeah, let's go back to my room and talk. And then nothing happened. Literally in her own words, nothing happened. So I don't know with that one. I think, I don't know. I just think with that one, it's just a mess. I don't believe Giselle for a second. I think she's completely lying and making things up. And it just doesn't make any sense. Now, when they talked about Ashley and Wendy, we're talking about why Ashley wanted to bring up the whole Chris situation in front of Candiace and making sure that it was brought up in front of Giselle. The reason why I think Ashley wanted to make sure she brought up the stuff about Chris in front of Giselle had nothing to do with messy Mia, it being in her own delusion, talking about Chris was eyeing me down and Chris was flirting with me and staring at me, which again, shout out to the shady producers, proved that was a lie. Also with Ashley saying that Chris was hitting on her friend, shout out to shady producers. They proved that was a lie. The reason why I think Ashley wanted to do it in front of Giselle was her way of signaling to Giselle, I'm still on your side. I still have an allegiance to the green-eyed bandits. Don't think that my allegiance is with Candiace. I think like they always do, and like they said last episode, Candiace and Ashley said it last episode when they went to Candiace's house to get the wine. They know how the women get together. They create the storylines. They say who the target is. And during that conversation, Ashley said, yeah, Giselle has some of my secrets too. So to me, I think that Ashley does not want to go against Giselle for a couple of reasons. One, like she said, she has my secrets too. She doesn't want, I don't know what could be a bigger secret than my husband allegedly is, sucking the D's of sex workers. I don't know what's a bigger secret than that. Like, what's bigger than that Giselle could have that Ashley is worried about getting out? Because Ashley did not flinch. She did not look surprised. She wasn't shocked. She wasn't anything. She was just like, yeah, I hear things, I process it, and I deal, like, whatever. Like, of course, like, she's like, yeah, I know, I don't care, whatever. And next, it was like, oh, pick up some milk on the way home. Okay, cool. The sky is blue. Gotcha. Your husband, you know what I mean? Like, she knew. In my personal opinion, again, everything is alleged and rumored and opinion based. In my personal opinion, observing her reaction, she knew and she wasn't bothered by it. So what could be bigger than that Giselle knows about Ashley? So whatever Giselle has, Ashley wants to remain on her good side. She wants to remain in cahoots. She doesn't want her and Chris to be targets anymore. So to me, that was Ashley signaling to Giselle and Robin, I'm still on your side. Our allegiance stands. I'm going against Candiace and Chris like we pre-planned. Because they already told it before. We already know what happened with Monique. We already know what happened with Wendy and Eddie. So we already know how they do it, right? Okay. Now let's watch part 3 and then we'll talk about it, okay? And this is the last part. Part 3 is the last part, okay? So let me get the video up for you guys and then we'll talk about it. All right. This is part 3.
To say, well, Chris knew that no one was in the room and he still lured me.
I didn't say lured.
That's the intent.
I didn't say that
word. He lured me into the room to talk to me. Do you believe that he had malintent?
I don't know, Candiace. It is as simple as I do not want to be in a room with a married man. Chris is maybe doing things that he feels comfortable with, but the ladies don't.
Ashley says that at the spring party, that Chris came on to someone else.
Okay. Oh, was she specific?
No, she wasn't.
I'm not vindictive, and I'm not trying to be vindictive. That narrative has to stop. When I saw my friend yesterday,
Who was at the party?
and she asked me if they're still together, okay?
Who is this friend?
Deborah is a friend of mine who I met at my mom group.
Are you inviting all the girls to the dance class?
I think so.
You mean Candiace?
Yeah, Candiace and I are good.
That's good.
I'm not good at sitting on those things. I feel that it was important to tell her.
You could have called me and you didn't because you wanted to wait for an opportunity to do it on a platform that would cause the most hurt to someone who has never been anything but kind to you. And that is what what up. You are the reason that people cannot come forward with sexual assault allegations. Because you say things that have no basis and no back.
So what I just said, you said you understand. Now it has no basis?
I understand.
Are you kidding? I'm the reason why women don't come forward? Absolutely not. If anything, I'm being an advocate for women to come forward with their truth. Because I ain't lying. Okay.
Cheers to you hosting an event, and you really made a good effort.
Aw.
You really did.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, for better or for worse.
Oh, you drank the whole thing?
I did.
Oh, you're a monster. Okay, wait.
Are we going to the van?
It's incredibly hurtful to me. How Giselle can act as if she doesn't understand how damaging what she is saying is. She is an evil, and I refuse to have my intelligence tap danced on. So, go to hell.
Sorry, guys, did the stream mess up? Sometimes NBC comes for me when I do this, but this is the thing, like it says in the banner, fair use doctrine, everything is legal. this is protected under the copyright laws. So NBC, stop coming from me. But I think it cut out right at the very end. So we're good. I think it cut out right at the very end. So we're good. I think we covered everything. Okay. So let's get into a couple of things. Number one, Candiace, in my personal opinion, cleared Giselle. Cleared her. I personally agree with her position that Giselle playing around with, oh, he lured me into the hotel room. Oh, I felt uncomfortable in my gut, blah, 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 blah. But yet, just like Candiace said, you felt so uncomfortable. You felt this, that, and the third about my husband, but you didn't say a word to me about it. You didn't say a word to him about it. You waited months. You talked about it behind my back to Robin and to Ashley, and then you waited months until you had a camera and a mic to say something, right? You guys, am I back? Put it in the chat. Am I back? I'm seeing people are saying the stream got suspended, but put it in the chat box. Let me know if I'm back, because I thought I was back, okay? All right, so yeah, they do that when I stream their stuff, but okay, let's keep going. But again, as we saw, shout out to the shady producers. Hold on, let me remove that. Okay, am I back now, you guys? Could you guys see me now? Let me know if I'm back now. Okay. Or do I have to go back? All right, I guess I'm back. Okay, anyway. But shout out to the shady producers who, again, was vindicating Chris. And then, yeah, so that was pretty much it, you guys. That was the recap of the sneak peek with the whole situation. Just as a quick recap, Candiace exposes this, rumor, allegation that Michael Darby likes to, frequent a sex worker and as his D. Ashley seems to already know about this and is cool with it and has no problem with it. I do think that Ashley told on herself. The fact that she said, oh, I'm not vindictive, we have to stop that narrative, to me means you're being vindictive. Like, nobody said that you were being vindictive while you're filming. So how do you know that's going to be people's perception unless that was your intent? So Ashley, you told on yourself. Your intent was to be vindictive. Just like you said, the pendulum swings the other way. You were pissed because Candiace talked about Michael, and you were pissed when she broke the fourth wall and she talked about Michael again this season. And then you and Giselle and Robin probably already had a pact. You already had an allegiance that this season was going to be the takedown Candiace and Chris season. Last season, takedown Wendy and Eddie. The season before that, takedown Monique and Chris Samuels. You already admitted it. Ashley admitted it and Candiace admitted it, that the women get together and they create the storylines. Nobody's falling for it. Nobody is falling for it, okay? Nobody is falling for it. Also, let's see what else was said, just as a quick recap. Ashley accusing Chris of flirting. I don't believe any of that. And then Ashley cleared Giselle. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick outro for anybody watching on the replay, but hang out, Candy Canes, because then I want to go through any of your questions and your comment in the chat box. So as always, I want to know your thoughts on this. Put it down in the comment section below. Whose side are you on? Do you believe Chris or do you believe Giselle? And what do you think about Candiace? Are you proud of her that she's handling this situation in a much more mature, logical way than she has handled situations in the past? I personally am. I see a lot of growth on her behalf. I think that if they would have tried this on Candiace a couple of years ago, there probably already would have been some type of big fight or something going on. Who knows? I'm kind of proud of the way she's handling everything. What do you feel about Giselle? Do you believe what she's saying about Chris or not? And then also, what do you think about the rumor about Michael? Does it even matter if they have an open relationship? Is it actually cheating? If Ashley doesn't care, should we care? So put your comment down below. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it when we go live. Also, be sure to share this with a friend because a kiki is always better with community. Check out our description box down below and shop our love collection. So with that, you guys, let's